Hi, this is Don Nelson again, and I'm the author of Challenge the Leader Inside. I've been doing a series of short video clips with tips for relationships and things like that. And we're going to start a new series. We're going to start a series where we'll be interviewing interesting people who do interesting things to help people. And today, we're going to start off with a gentleman I've met recently and been fascinated with his body of knowledge. His name is Dakota Christianson.
Yep, you got it right.
Did I get it right?
You did.
Yes, Dakota Christianson. He's a nutritional consultant at Westerly, right?
Yeah, Westerly Natural Market, yeah.
Westerly Natural Market in Manhattan at 54th Street and 8th Avenue.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. I've been shopping there and we've gotten to know each other, and I've become fascinated with the things he knows, and in fact, one of the things I've noticed at the market is when I'm there, other people who work there on the staff go to him for information too. And I was just asking him about how it all started before we started doing this video. And what, you said something interesting before about 30 years you've been studying nutrition?
Yeah, I've been studying and reading, researching the studies of others for 30 years and working in and out of the retail trade of nutrition. And I have been the living guinea pig example of a lot of the diligences that I've read of, and really had the curiosity to explore myself to see what would happen.
And what happened?
I'm still here to tell about it. I mean, I have gone off on a year of a less than 1,000 calorie a day diet in order to see what that would feel like. Hoping that I would feel the difference of turning on the SIRT2 gene, which is the youth expression gene that preserves you from aging when the body dips below 1,000 calories a day for its intake. But I still think that fasting is what I'm going to be doing again this summer. More of a juice cleanse fasting that I've had more of a profound experience with.
Well, you're one of the people who don't just talk about things, you actually walk it.
Yeah, I mean, I've eaten handfuls of black ants just to see what would happen. And, you know, there's various different plants and things that I wasn't really sure that those who had advised me on them were advising me properly. So I had to take it little by little. And there were things that sounded extreme. There were things that, you know, when you read about the side effects of a particular herb, you know, vomiting is not a pleasant one. But there are things like fasting that has just brought me through the woods. When I have seen myself go for 90 days on nothing but raw vegetable juice, you know, liquids in until the solids quit coming out, and it is life changing. It is clarifying. It is very telling.
Now, some of these things you're talking about, of course, are extreme, and these are things that you've been doing with yourself over the years. But let me ask you a question about something, for example, that whoever might be watching this might be interested in general. We just heard something recently about GMOs.
Okay.
And certain retail places, I think, like Chipotle and a couple of others, are changing their menus. What is it about GMOs, for example? Are they all bad, GMOs?
That's something I guess we are the living guinea pigs to find out. It might take 3 generations to get the answer. But I have read of studies where 3 generations of mice fed GMOs become sterile. You know, but then again, there was also an overwhelming response to the number of men in this country that would love to have a contraceptive. So we might be getting there inadvertently.
You mean the world population?
Yeah.
Through GMOs?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Well, I heard something this morning, actually. It was part of a larger conversation in my work. Somebody mentioned this, and they said that they had heard that processed foods interfere with or destroy good bacteria in the body. Do you know anything about that?
I know a lot of things that I have read about, and I remember enough to live it. I mean, I don't know it's Latin all the time, but I would imagine that could very well be the case, that when you are feeding the body nothing but a challenging, mucus-forming, inflammatory food substance, or something that's not even a food substance, that just resembles one, that the breakdown that it exacts the toll on the body of trying to metabolize something that it can't or that it shouldn't. Yeah, I could see where those problems could arise, versus feeding your body raw nutrition. And when I say raw, it wouldn't have to mean everything raw. I mean, there can be cooked foods that still would have plenty of nutrition to them. And, even a liquid diet like a juice fast would be above and beyond, the nutrition that any of us would ever have the jaw capacity to chew our way through. I mean, when it comes to going on a juice fast, you can usually fit within a 16-ounce pint-sized bottle at least 5 pounds of produce, which if you're drinking 4 of those things a day or more, you're getting far more vegetables than you could ever chew through. Mm-hmm. And you're getting the nutrition of them without any of the metabolic effort necessary to render or wrench it from the fiber.
Well, I was going to say, what about the fiber?
Fiber is a good thing to keep one regular, and fiber is good to keep our cholesterol in check and keep bowel motility motile and moving. But during a fast, we're out to see that we can hydrate the body, because hydration is far more key than caloric intake to the body's health and well-being. I mean, we are like a walking wet cell battery.
You said, that reminds me of something, and this might be a good thing to end on just for today. You said something recently to me that was fascinating, and that was that the mind says we're hungry, but it's really saying we need water.
Yeah, I think it was the book that Dr. Humbert Smokey Santillo had written decades ago called The Body's Many Cries for Water. And studies had found that 8 out of 10 times, or 80% of the time, when you think you're hungry, your brain is actually thirsty. And yet the brain knows that in nature, thirst could be quelled with a carbohydrate coming from a fruit or a vegetable. But our brains have become so addicted through different pathways of man-made carbohydrates that when the brain cries hydration, we reach for carbo and not the hydration. And that is not going to be hydrating and alkalizing to the body as a raw juice intake would be versus a slice of cheese pizza.
So if I had the signal for hunger and started drinking a certain amount of water as I'm drinking now, it might be interesting to see just what effect that has.
Oh yeah.
Does the hunger continue, or will it be delayed an hour, or something like that?
Exactly. And one could start with those little diligences throughout one's day, whether it be their work day or their day off, to see just how often they would be reaching for food that they don't need, when in actuality they could be slaked or satiated with hydration alone. But what really becomes telling is when you're past day 7 doing that, and you realize that there is still solid waste coming out of you, and you've done nothing to put anything into you, and yet you are ingesting raw nutrients through the form of juice, and your health, your eyes, your brain, your lungs, your intestines feel lighter. You have more energy. You find you have 4 more hours in a day, and you're not cooking, shopping, chopping, and propping, and making a microwave dinner. You're going to halfway metabolize. It's amazing what cleansing yourself down to a clean slate can feel like.
So you sound like that's something you really believe
I think everybody should do it at least once in their life. I mean, it's something that I strive to do it annually. It's just that I have practiced other experimental dietary diligences in the last couple of years of different caloric loading and caloric depriving, to see what the body would respond and feel like, energy-wise and otherwise. But I feel like it's time once again. It's been a couple of years now that I've done a juice fast, and I feel it's time to see what I've got to shed. And the thing is that, mind you, when I first did my original juice fast when I was 20 years old, it was because depression had so driven me to the wall of frustration with all the other unknowns that I was taking in the way of meds that were supposedly just bandaging the symptoms of migraines and allergies and acne and rheumatoid arthritis that was starting, that I just decided that I wouldn't ever find the answer to what this problem is unless I cleaned the slate. And that's what had prompted me to just do the diligence of a 90-day fast. I didn't even have my sights set on 90 days. It was just the advice of a friend who was coaching me that just said raw liquid nutrition in until all the solids quit coming out. And I thought, okay, I'll call you next week when I'm done. And day 88, I thought I was birthing a baby. I mean, it was amazing what was still coming out of me with just nothing but raw juice nutrition in, and yet there was still things coming out of my system that I didn't want to keep. I didn't lose a limb, I didn't lose a kidney. It was just impacted buildup that the body was not thriving on in any way, shape, or form. It never would have had I kept it. And I've been the same 32 pant size since 10th grade. I'm 175 pounds now at 6 foot. When I was in 10th grade, I was 185. So somehow in the interim of those years, I had lost, in that first 90-day fast, I had lost 28 pounds of internal buildup.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I never had a jowl or a roll on me, and yet it was hiding somewhere. And I'm thinking, my God, if my...
There's something about that that's both fascinating and scary.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to end with that note. We could go on it for hours.
Oh yeah.
But for the sake of people who might be watching this,
yeah.
I want to limit it to.
Yeah, especially if they're listening during breakfast.
That's right. I don't want them to have to spend half a day watching this, and they may want to. We can do this again some more.
Yeah, let's do that.
I want to thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
And please, let's do this again.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's good.
All right, this is Don Nelson saying thank you for watching the video, and we'll be seeing you soon.